with another BS show. Man, so we got Next Level, and we have a guest today, Gruntstreams, brand new in the YouTube community, the streaming community, the tech community. It's going to be some great stuff coming. Next Level, what do you have in your beard before we begin?
Right now, just some chicken.
You do have chicken. It's always chicken in your beard.
Oh, I like beef. Steak is great.
What are you eating today? What do you got?
I haven't got that far because we got back-to-back appointments and schedules today. So I'm trying to sneak in a little piece of chicken here and there when I can.
Your chicken.
Yeah. So this is like the running joke. Gruntstreams is every time we start a show, we got to make fun of his beard because he's always got something in it.
Listen, you're just making fun of my beard because you can't grow one. I get it. So I'm okay with it.
It's patchy. Sorry.
Yeah, I can't grow one either.
Yeah. I think you were the one that called it too. It's like a little soul patch, right?
I just got that little goatee thing.
Little goatee. And that's, yeah, same here. I think, yeah, it's just like this little thing. I can't connect that, but
Me neither.
it's fine. It's fine. So, Gruntstreams, you want to introduce yourself to everybody so they know who you are?
Well, I'm Gruntstreams, aka Christian. But like I said, well, like Roja said, I'm new to the streaming community. I mean, I've been streaming for a while, but just starting to come to YouTube and posting videos and creating some content. But I mean, I've always been wanting to help out, my family and people, and it's just so this is where I'm at right now so far.
What got you started to wanting to help people?
It was more my family at first, I'm not saying like we grew up poor, but we had what we needed, but I always wanted to help them out and help them save money and different things like that. So I was like, what ways can we save money? And I noticed, back in the day, we didn't watch a lot of cable channels. We only watched certain ones. So I was like, well, why are we paying for all of this stuff when we only watch like 4 or 5 channels, maybe, so it's maybe like football games. That's about it. It's like, so, I mean, it was probably about 6 or 7 years ago. That's when I started kind of like looking into, I think I found Cody, and my brother actually showed me Cody. So I used it for a little bit, and then I kind of got away from it. I haven't used it in so long.
So what came first? Was it your passion for tech or your passion to help your friends and family?
I think it was more to help my friends and family, and then tech kind of slowly, came into the picture. Started, I think I had an Android box, but it was, one of those old ones that I couldn't figure out. So
yeah.
But YouTube's helped a lot, to be honest. I Google everything. I YouTube everything. If I don't know something, I'm on the computer trying to figure out, what I need to do and then how to fix it.
For sure. So you said 6-7 years ago, that was 2013, 2014. Before you were looking into ways of cutting the cord, and as you were with your family and growing up, watching, the basic 4 or 5 channels, even though you're paying for like 80 or 100 of them, did you guys have like anything specific, like the HBOs, the Cinemax, anything like that, or was it just basic?
Every once in a while, when the cable companies threw in like, hey, we're gonna throw in free months, that's the only time we really had, the packages really. We just had the normal, just 1 channel Stars, 1 channel Cinemax, Or sometimes if we didn't have cable, we just had those rabbit ears with aluminum foil, to try and get those locals,
Did you ever have back way back when, back in the 90s, not so much in the 2000s, but did you ever have a black box?
A black box.
You know what that is?
I don't think so, to be honest. I mean, probably, but I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure my parents had one.
Yeah. So back,
Old school TVs that we had to use pliers to turn the channel.
yeah. So way back then, I know in the 90s they were super popular. They used to have this thing called the black box. And the black box, what it was, it looked just like your DVR or your cable box. And what you did was you connect, you know how the cable box went from the cable box to the TV and then the cable box to the wall. So what it did was it was the wall to the cable box to the black box, and then black box to the TV. And what that black box did was it pretty much unlocked everything on your cable box. So you had essentially pay-per-views, Showtime, like you had HBO, you literally had every single channel that company was providing, but it was within this, and they were very expensive. It was like a door-to-door salesman. He would go down to your door, say, "Hey, I have this box that will unlock everything. I'll help you set it up. I'll show you how it works, and it's going to be just like your regular TV. You're just going to be able to see everything." And they were expensive way back then.
That sounds familiar now. I think I remember, but I don't think we ever had it. But I remember what you're talking about now.
Yeah, they were pretty. They're insanely now. Well, they're insanely popular back then. But where did you grow up?
And in Brownsville, Texas, way the southernmost tip of Texas, basically like North Mexico is what they call it.
North Mexico.
For real. So out there, I don't think I might have driven past. Maybe. Are you close to, what is it, Ladero?
It's further south.
Okay.
It's about 3 hours away from Laredo.
Dang, so you're way down there.
Yeah, it's like Matamoros is right on the other side.
Oh yeah, geez. Next level's like, what is this Spanglish?
I thought I was North Mexico. I'm in Canada.
There you go. You're North America. North of United States.
Yeah.
Cool. So when you were growing up and you were looking into, I guess, because I think it's fair to say, and next level and I have talked about a lot. We've talked to several people, and it's always they're all very similar stories. When people say, I found somebody or something on YouTube, or I found a URL of how to watch a free fight, a free pay-per-view somehow. What was it that I guess gave you that spark to say, hey, there's got to be something better out there? Did somebody talk to you about it, or did you run into it?
It was more my brother, actually. He's the one that introduced me to Cody. And he showed me how it worked. Hey, this is how you can get, free channels, movies, and TV shows. And then he showed me all the torrent sites and stuff like that. I mean, I used to download music back in the day with that iMesh and all that other stuff, man. It was crazy stuff back then. But now it's so easy to get music, and it's crazy. But yeah, I mean, my brother was kind of like the one that introduced me to everything, and then like that's when I kind of started like, all right, well, let me look into more stuff, and YouTube being different things, and looking up, different tech and stuff like that.
And I bet you're the one who's helping your brother now, huh?
Not really. I mean, he's the one that kind of got me to build a PC. I wasn't really into building computers. I wasn't really into gaming all that much, but he gave me a PS3. He gave me an Xbox 360, and so I was like, but I wouldn't play all that much. But I play here and there, but not as much as that I want.
What about streaming? Because he taught you about Cody?
Yeah, I mean, he showed me that, but I guess I kind of like looked into it more on the streaming side. And so, I mean, he showed me a couple of the free stuff, but then I kind of started looking into more of the free stuff and the reselling and stuff. He doesn't do that. I do that. And so, but I mean, Yeah, I mean, that's how I can.
How did you go about starting the conversation with your friends and family when you wanted to teach them and help them save money and stuff like that?
I mean, they were all for it. I mean, they didn't really know much about tech or anything like that. So they call me their IT guy. They're like, hey, call the IT guy. This is messing up. And I mean, I don't know like a whole lot about computers, but I've fixed a couple things here and there. My uncle had a computer that he hadn't used in 5 years.
Mhm.
And I helped him get it back up and running with the new Windows install and a SSD instead of those old hard drives, you know?
Right.
So, I mean, if I don't know how to do something and they ask me, I'll just go ahead and YouTube it. I'll Google it, and then I'll fix it for them. And so they're always like, "Hey, call the IT guy. This isn't working." And so I'll go over there and help them out. And of course, they're always like, "Here's $10. Here's $20." But I don't want to take their money. But they're my family, you know, I'm always willing to help. But I mean, they try to pay me, but I really don't want to accept it.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you used Cody back in the day, what was your favorite add-ons that you would use back then?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't even remember the names.
No?
No, not really. Well, you know what? I remember something called Genesis. That was all I remember, to be honest.
Okay, Genesis. That just tells me how far you're coming from when it comes to Cody, because Genesis was the creator of Genesis is the name is Lambda. He was part of the original guys with TV add-ons back then. I'm not sure if you watched the interview with the Butcher. The Butcher was one of also the original guys from way back then when there was one team. And Genesis was the first add-on that it was very, very uniquely put together with the whole movies and TV shows. And then every single add-on after that, like a good amount of add-ons are just copy paste forks, whatever you want to call it, from that one original one. Did you use a build also back in the day?
I mean, it was mainly on my phone. Like my brother told me how to install it on my phone. I just added a couple add-ons here and there just to watch like pay-per-view fights or some movies and TV shows. But it was when I first joined the military, to be honest. And like when we would go to training and stuff, the guys were like, "Hey, how do we watch the fight?" And then I have my phone and be like, "Hey, here, we'll try and watch the fight on my phone," and with these different add-ons and stuff. So it was pretty cool.
And then you had now you're in the Coast Guard,
The National Guard, Army National Guard.
Army National Guard. So you probably had your platoon, all 30 guys, all looking at a little screen.
Yeah.
Did you when you got on your cell phone and you were getting all this stuff on your phone, when did you figure out that you can do this on your TV? Was it not too long after that?
Well, I ended up putting it on a laptop, and then I would just connect my laptop with the HDMI cord to my TV. And then, of course, I was always downloading movies. I was always downloading music from uTorrent and all these torrent sites. So and then I was always the one that had the movies, the newest movies. And I was always like, "All right, guys, I'm gonna get my laptop ready. We're gonna connect it to the TV. We're gonna connect the speaker with an aux cord, and then that's how we watched our movies."
I did the same thing.
Yeah, you're now okay, real quick. How old are you again?
I'm 31, gonna be 32 this year.
31, 32. So you were born in 90.
I was born in 88.
88, 90 something. 80. I was gonna say 90, but no, 88. So okay, so yeah, you're born in the 80s. So I'm 39. Next level, you're
34.
34?
Think so.
I did not know.
Man, I stopped counting how old I am when I had my son, okay?
This is when you need something to eat. Give you brain food. So it's typically people who are in their later 20s, early 30s. I would say like so 31, like there's very few people that I met 31 that have the knowledge that you're talking about, where I was torrenting, I was grabbing from this
Right.
site, from that site. It's typically people like closer to 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, where they're just like, oh, I did this, and people are just like, what is that? 8 tracks? What? Or how Next Level calls me every now and then. Okay, boomer. It's like I wasn't born in the 60s.
Record cassette tapes. I would record like the radio with play and pause button, or play and record.
Dude,
oh, man. Back in the
did
day.
you ever do the VHS, 2 VHSs, 1 cassette playing, 1 cassette recording? Did you ever do that?
Oh yeah, I've done that too. And then we've recorded football games and stuff like that on the VCR.
In the VCR. Now that's the one thing I never understood. Even now, like unless it's an amazing game or something, this is the one thing I've never understood. Back in the day, you would record whatever, like a football game.
Yeah.
And they save it for later. And it's just like they never watch it again. And it's just like, why? Or if they do watch it, they're like, hey, I have the game recorded. They're like, oh, I already know who won, but I want to watch it anyway. It's just like, but you already know who won. Why do you want to watch it again?
Yeah. I think my dad had one of the Super Bowls, the Dallas Cowboys and the Buffalo Bills. There was like a Michael Jackson concert on there. It was the halftime show. So like we had that recorded. We still watched it like a couple years ago. We found the VHS. We watched it. We're like, man, how time flies, man. It's
memories.
It's
So you still have a VHS player?
My parents do at their house. I don't have one in my house, but my parents do, because they still have a lot of the Disney movies we used to have when we were younger, stuff like that. We recorded with those big old video cameras, you know, with the big old light on the front.
Yep, I remember those. I remember. It's funny how each generation has something that they hang on to. When I was a kid, what they used to do, my parents, especially my stepdad, my first stepdad he had this little, like, remember those, what was that thing that you put on your eyes and then you click it and it switches pictures?
Oh yeah. I forgot what but yeah, and I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So it's if anybody's listening out there, I know sometimes it's hard with the podcast because they're listening, not watching, but you would put like this big thing over your eyes, and then you would click it on the side. You would put like a film, like a circle film. You'd click it, and then it'd go in circles. Back then, they used to have something like that, but turn more parallel to the ground instead of to your face, and it was like it would project. Though it was like a little square picture. It would project it to the screen, and it was just a picture of how when they were a kid or when their parents were younger. And I remember we used to have, it was every summer we used to have some kind of like movie night. And during the wintertime, it was a movie night. We used to do it twice a year. My first stepdad, he's Mexican. His parents lived in Mexico, so they would drive all the way from the capital to California, and long drive. I don't know how they did it at their age, but they were doing it. They would come out and they would stay with us for like, it was like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, you know, for the holidays and stuff like that. Sometimes for the summer, and they would make, and this was homemade popcorn. This wasn't the popcorn that you throw in the microwave. This was like, you had like a little fire or fireplace, and then you put the little bag in there, then everything will pop, you know? So we would do that. We would pull out these little things. He would put the reel in, and then, you know, with a little click of a button, it would just flip over. And we just sit there, just hear the stories for like 2-3 hours, just listening to the stories. And I used to be stuck on there like, dude, this is cool. I can't believe technology can do stuff like this and show me an image from back in the day, you know? Yeah. Now with us, it's kind of like we're in that weird, I don't know. It's almost like we're like in a weird Twilight Zone area where with our kids, we're like, hey, we had these huge camcorders that you used to put on your shoulder, and you better lift weights because those things were heavy as hell. You would put a huge VHS. Oh, wait, hold on a second. They made these smaller VHSs a few years later.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on a second. They made these compact discs a few years later. Hold on a second. Now they made these chips a few years later. It's just like we've gone in our lifetime. We've gone through some like we've seen technology move so fast.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it's kind of like, you know, the kids nowadays, you know, they probably look at you and they're just like, we have a cell phone, Dad. And you're just like, okay, 4-year-old, silence.
My 4-year-old has a cell phone actually, but it's not active. But he just uses games on it, and he has a tablet.
Yep. My niece, she's 5. I gave her a tablet for her birthday at the age of 5. She had same story like you, wanted to help my family out. A couple years back, my niece was probably 2 or 3. Hooked up a Fire Stick, put it on, everything was good. They were going. So she's got 2 kids. I got 2 nieces. Oh man, I'm gonna get in trouble. One is 9 years old, the other one's 5 years old. The 9-year-old, I'm her godfather, and the little one. Let me tell you how this girl is. They're 2 girls, but the little one is feisty. My sister was trying to figure out something on the Fire Stick, and I'm watching her do this as let's just call her 3 years old. I'll give her a bonus age just in case she was 3. She takes the remote out of my sister's hands and said, "No, Mom, this is how you do it." And she went through Cody, figured it out, got a link, got it playing, and I'm just like, dude, I'm over here in my 30s and I'm trying to figure this out. You're over here 3 decades younger than me. I'm like, are you kidding me? I don't know. It's scary. It's scary to see what, I don't know. I have a feeling technology is going to kind of, especially with the streaming stuff, I think everything is at a good sweet spot right now. I don't think it's going to advance too much. I hope. You know,
yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it will in the next couple of years, but hopefully it just chills out for a little bit so we can catch up.
Catch up a little bit, yeah.
Well, there's definitely a lot more people these days that are trying to cut the cord and get into streaming, no matter which way they cut it, like be it Netflix, like Hulu, like Disney Plus, or, you know, a little bit more adventurous, like the stuff that we do. But there's definitely a lot more people that are open to the idea. I remember back in the day when I used to do the laptops, the HDMIs and the optical cords and all that stuff too, I knew that there was boxes out there, but to me, I don't know if it was ignorance or I just didn't like the boxes and they were too confusing. So they were not user friendly like they are today. And that's why I stuck with my laptops. And I would do everything through my laptops or through external hard drives or all that kind of good stuff. But yeah, so to what Rojas is saying, I think that we've hit a nice plateau. And yes, there is change coming, but I think it's not at the same pace as how it's been for the last 20, 30 years.
And I really do hope it just like levels up a little bit, you know, because even with like Android 7 is a really nice sweet spot, but there's still 8, there's still 9, there's then 10's out, 11's in beta. And, you know, the one thing that we talk about always is a lot of this Android updates have to do with like cell phone security features, not so much for streaming devices. That's why you could get like a 4K Fire Stick with Android 7 and it works just fine. And you can get that 4K quality, you know, which is good. So for you, Grunt, when you had the laptop and you were connecting that to your computer, what was your first device? Like what was your first device that you plugged into your TV and said, okay, I'm going to stop using my laptop and I'm going to start using streaming devices?
I mean, it was an Android box, but I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember what it was called. I'm pretty sure it had like was it KitKat 4 point something?
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it was an Android box. I messed around with it, and I think I installed Kodi on it as well, and then well, about 5 years ago when I met my wife at the time, her brother was also into selling the Fire Sticks and selling Android boxes, so he kind of introduced me to that as well, on how to sell them and program them a little bit, and then of course YouTube helped a lot, and then Google, and I just kept going and YouTubing more and Googling more and just kind of learning different things, and then we just went from there.
Were you sold on that KitKat box? Like, did you get this KitKat box, set it up, and be like, all right, I can stop connecting my laptop to my TV now?
Not really. I still use my laptop a lot. Like at first when I was using my laptop, like the same thing you said, I knew about boxes, but honestly, I mean, well, for one, I didn't have all the extra money to go buy a box. So I was like, you know what? I had the money to get the laptop. I'm just gonna keep using it. I mean, it's working great. I was able to download the movies and my music and watch them with no issues. So I didn't see a reason, like the same thing. I didn't see a reason to go spend money on another box.
Right.
When I had a device that worked fine.
What do you think is the device that finally won you over and put your laptop away and got it out of the living room?
Fire Stick. To be honest,
was it the first gen, second gen, 4K? Which one?
I think I just had I think I had a first gen.
The first gen.
Mm.
And that sold you, and you were like, okay, this is getting better. I can do this. This makes sense now.
I started with the first gen also. What about you next?
My first ever Android box was that colorful H96. That was my first Android box. Before then, it was just all cell phone and laptops. But to be fair, I don't watch a whole lot of TV shows and movies. I may pick one or two TV shows, and then I'll try to just binge watch that whole thing. I used to try not to get involved into too many shows because I hated having to wait for each episode to come out, because this whole idea about binge watching stuff didn't really come out until, Netflix and streaming became more popular. So I hated the whole idea. I would just wait until everything was done. And in the meantime, I would just keep going back to like Star Trek, and I would rewatch Star Trek, or I'd rewatch the older shows. But even when I got the H96, it was okay. It was a good device, but I wasn't a fan of the layout, the user interface, the remote. It still didn't completely win me over yet. Then we started getting into applications like Terrarium. I wasn't a huge Kodi guy, as you know, and I kind of waited for kind of the apps to evolve to win me over, to be fair. I wanted something super simple to use that I could actually tell somebody about. Because how often do we have times where we tell people and then we show them and then we give it to them and then they have an issue and you're like, yeah. You need to make sure whatever you give people or with the knowledge that you give them is solid. Because then they're going to look at you, especially if it's friends and family, they're going to be like, why are you giving me crap? But at the same time, they'll be the same kind of people that will know that you're knowledgeable in this stuff, go to somebody else, pay more money, and then come to you to fix it for free.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, what devices do you use now?
I have all 4K Fire Sticks, and then I have the MeCool KM3 that you got, and then I do have a TiVo Stream 4K as well that I purchased when the hype was real.
When the hype was real.
And then after it came out, I just started seeing all these videos like, oh, it sucks. So I was like, damn it.
I think a lot of people are on the fence with that. Like, a lot of people like it and a lot of people hate it.
Yeah. It's kind of like what they're trying to do is they're trying to say this is an NVIDIA Shield without the Shield price. Mm-hmm. But then I'm like, no, it's not the NVIDIA Shield. They're using Android TV. It's what it is. Because if it was like the NVIDIA Shield, you would get the power, and you don't get the power. It is a good device. It uses the chips, the newest chip and everything. My biggest gripe is memory. Like it doesn't have that much memory. It says it's 8 gigs, but with all the extra stuff that they add to it, you don't have that much room. You don't have much breathing room, to say, okay, let me add like a Cody build, some APKs, TV mate, like Next Level and I have gone back and forth through this. And sometimes it's like, man, like you can't do too much before the thing is all topped out,
Yeah, and then it was well, I had given it to my parents. They put it in their room, and of course they have their cable service that I gave them, and I guess it was always glitching, like the device would glitch, and he was like, "Hey, it keeps glitching," and then once it starts, it just keeps doing it and doing it, and so I was like Googling it, and it was an issue with a lot of them. So apparently, with an update, they were going to fix the issue, and I'm pretty sure it did. I mean, my daughter doesn't really use it. I have it in her room, but she doesn't really use it much. She's more on YouTube all the time, or she plays her Nintendo Switch. So, but I've been meaning to test it, check it out, and see if it still does that. But I haven't even checked to see if it updated, because I know they said they put like a banner on the top now for Android TV.
Yeah, I looked at mine. This is the great world of YouTube. There's people that we learn to trust and watch, and even if we don't trust them, there's people out there that we will get our information and be like, "Ooh, something new is coming." Those exact same people are the same ones that will tell you, "Oh, the Mi Stick is coming out, another competitor to the Fire Stick," and it's just like 1 gig of RAM.
I saw that when I read that, I was like, I'm not even gonna bother.
Yeah. It's like, what's the point? Why? And I guess the thing that kind of there's some YouTubers that will do stuff. These videos, or bloggers, or whatever you want to call them, that will do these videos, and will give you, I don't want to say false information, because the information was right, and they're saying that Android TV will start putting some kind of banner on there. With the Shield, I did the updates and everything. I didn't see any banner. I also heard from a different person that on the NVIDIA pays so that way there is no ads on their interface. I don't know what TiVo is doing. And with Android TV, the official version, I don't know what those rules and regulations are, but when they said, hey, Android TV is going to do XYZ, then it's just like, okay, well, which devices? Is it every single one of them? Is it, hey, this update's coming for some devices? It's too hypothetical. It's like us saying, dude, check out the new 4K Fire Stick. It's coming out in the next 2 months. When Amazon Prime drops, they're going to release their new Fire Stick, and it's going to be so much more powerful and so much better and blah, blah, blah. And it could totally flop. Who knows? We're just,
The other thing to keep in mind as well is that sometimes these updates are country specific. So I know, because I have an Amazon.ca account and I have an Amazon.com account. And if I log into my Fire devices with my Canadian or my US one, the content is a little bit different. Even the layout, like sometimes I'll see options that are on the Amazon.com account that's not on the Amazon.ca. So we sometimes have to pay attention to where we're getting our information from and where in the world they are.
For sure. Yeah. It's yeah. So when I hear, that's a great point. So like if somebody from the UK is saying Android TV is going to have XYZ, it's like, wait a minute, for the UK?
Right.
Be specific, please, because in the US, it's very, very different. Like in the United States, and even within Canada, even though we share a border, it is, we could have a Prime sale and you won't have it up there,
right.
And it's just, it's so true. That is an excellent point. So I want to go back to your Kodi venture. You said it was a really short one.
Yeah, it was.
Where did you go after Cody?
Honestly, I think I just went back to my laptop and downloading torrents and stuff like that. To be honest, I think it was probably like a couple years later is when I ended up going back to an Android box, and I think I remember now it was an MXQ or something like that.
Those MXQs.
And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of fake ones out there from
A lot of fake ones.
So it was okay. It wasn't that great. So I'm pretty sure I didn't know a lot about, Android boxes. So I was like, I'm just going to get one of these and, see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
Did you buy it set up or was it brand new in the box? And
I think it was used. I don't think it was set up. I mean, I probably had like old apps that I had to uninstall.
Right.
I mean, I can remember a lot from back in the day, but I have kind of bad memory. So it's just like some things I can remember, some things I can't really remember, specific things or the names or which apps. But yeah, it kind of came to mind at the MXQ because I was recently messing with one, trying to update like the firmware, see if it worked, and YouTubing different things and Googling, trying to get it back to life, but I couldn't figure it out.
One thing that Rojas and I talk a lot about is time. What is your time worth? I mean, that MXQ box that you're fighting with, you fight with it for an hour, let's say. Is it really worth that time? Especially when you can buy a 4K Fire Stick right now for how much in the States? What, 30, 40, 50 bucks?
Yeah, $50. Unless you go to Verizon.
Yeah.
They still have that deal on, right?
They still have it.
Now, anybody who's watching, there was I think it was in July, that Verizon deal, the sale. So Next Level and I were doing a live show. Correct me if I'm wrong, Grunt. But Next Level and I were doing a live show, and Grunt said something about Verizon as having 33 USD dollars and for 3 Fire Sticks each, $33 each. And you could go buy one through Verizon, sign out as a guest, and you could get the deal. He posted that on the show, and then we looked it up. We talked about it. We're like, holy crap. But nobody knew about this deal until Grunt said something.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, everybody was talking about it. It went like insane. So if anybody out there is watching and they're like, hey, I remember that Verizon had this deal, this is the guy that brought it to light. And if you missed the deal,
they kind of blocked me already from buying it anymore. But
did they really?
Yeah, it's like, oh, use a different form of payment, but it's like I've tried different forms, and I just okay, have my wife order some. I'll have my mom. You can have somebody else order some for you. So it's a simple thing, but unless you're an actual Verizon customer, they probably won't allow you to check out so many times. Kind of catch on.
Yeah, I forget who it was. Somebody said that they signed out as a guest. They bought 3 at a time, and they kept switching their VPN location. They kept doing that, and I'm just like, how many did you buy? And it was in the hundreds.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, they were out of stock, I think, when Amazon had their first 4K Fire Stick sale about a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
They were out of stock. I had put it on my Facebook group page. They were out of stock, or it took like 2 or 3 weeks for you to get one. Mm-hmm. And then I went to Verizon, and I was trying to get some from there, and they were sold out too. I was like, man, everyone's buying them now. So I was like, they're sold out for a little while. But I guess Amazon was like, you know what, we should probably have another sale because we were sold out when we had the first one.
Mm-hmm.
So it took a while, but.
And I think they have another sale right now going on too.
It was, but I think it ended yesterday.
Okay, they'll bring it back.
They're not on sale anymore.
Yeah, they're gonna bring it back. And with that being said, I know we are now towards the end of the show. So we definitely want to thank you for coming. Is there any last thing you want to say to the people before we let you go?
I just want to say thank you to everyone who's liked and commented and given me feedback on my videos. I appreciate the support to both of you for sure. Rojas, Next Level, and MS7, Paper Plate, all those guys are really really nice people. They help out, and they let me. I try to watch some of their live shows. I can't. They're live a lot, but I try and join a couple just to say hello. But I appreciate everyone and greatly. And any feedback, please, send feedback my way because I need all the help I can get. Any help would be greatly appreciated. So
sure.
once again, I appreciate you guys, both of you, Rojas and Next Level, for having me on the show. And that's about it.
Cool. We're gonna make sure we do link your YouTube channel in the description. So wherever you guys are either listening to us on your different podcasts, or if it's on the YouTube channel, make sure you guys do check the description below. It's very simple. Your channel is named Gruntstreams.
Yes.
All one word.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Grunt with the T. Grunt Streams, one word. So with all that being said, again, we appreciate you coming here. And as always, we tell everybody, you guys take care of each other.
Stay humble and be patient.
And we'll see you guys on the next one.
Peace.